Welcome students in this class. Today I am going to discuss John Keats' poem To One Who Has Been Long in City Pent, and this poem is included in your LCC paper. This lecture is primarily meant for semester 4 students, although any other student can watch this video. John Keats was a romantic poet. As you all know, a common trait of romanticism is going back to nature or return to nature. As in the aftermath of French Revolution and due as an effect of Industrial Revolution, what we witness that during the late 18th century and in the early 19th century, all those cities, especially London, Liverpool, Manchester, all those cities, or what we can call as metropolis, became the hub of industries and factories. There was this large scale industrialization in all those major towns and cities of England and, of course, throughout Europe. Now, as a result of this industrialization, what we find that our nature was gradually becoming corrupted. Right? Not only this contamination of nature, but also the impurities of human condition or human soul. Because people began to come in large numbers, began to throng around the cities, and they took the occupation, they took work, they were engaged in those factories and industries as laborers, right? Shromic. So they used to live in very poor condition, very wretched condition. The hygiene was not satisfactory, and there was rampant corruption prevalent in those societies. Their living condition was not up to the mark. So these are all connected with this effect of industrialization, and as a reaction to this process of industrialization, these romantic poets they all wished to return to that nature, that serene, that pure nature. Because these romantic poets, they perceived that human soul was connected with nature. This interconnection between nature and human entity was something that these romantic poets have always prioritized, and Keats was of no exception. Now, in this particular poem, To One Who Has Long Been in City Pent, this poem consists of 14 lines, and many critics consider it as a sonnet. This sonnet, Keats has imitated in the style of Petrarch. I mean the Petrarchan sonnet, not like the Shakespearean sonnet, which composed 3 quatrains and a couplet, but Petrarchan sonnet, which composed of an octave and a sextet. So let's start. The poem starts like this. To one who has long been in city pent, it's very sweet to look into the fair and open face of heaven to breathe a prayer, full in the smile of the blue firmament. Now the poet describes the experience of a city dweller who goes out to the countryside on a holiday. Like we all, in the winter season, we are all fond of going to picnic. So what we essentially do during the picnic is that we all live in towns and cities. For one day, or not for the entire day, for only 8 hours or 10 hours, we go to the countryside. In the lap of nature, we enjoy, we feast, and after the sunset, in the afternoon, we again come back to our own abode. We do not stay there permanently. This is our hypocrisy. In the morning, we go to the countryside, and in the evening, we all return to our homes. In our homes, which are basically in between cities and towns. I mean, in the industrial belt. So nature is only, or we perceive, we consider nature as a source of our enjoyment and nothing else. Nature is not our abode. We spend a day, we enjoy, and again and at the end we come back to our home. So we go to the lap of nature for our satisfaction, fulfillment, enjoyment, right? So this person, this poet or author or narrator, whomever you may call, on one fine morning he goes out into the countryside and enjoy that day. This poem is all about his experiences. Now, this poem, to one who has been long in city pent, Keats describes the experiences of a man who has long been shut up in the city, who remains in the confinement of the city, right? City pent means confinement, and who has come to a countryside for a brief spell. This particular experiences of the man enjoying the beautiful sights and sounds of nature in the countryside is what the poet has himself experienced. Now, Keats, he was born and brought up in London, like most of us, right? So the dull monotony of the city life seemed to him like a cram. So he always felt an attraction for the beauty of nature in the countryside. And this particular poem, this particular segment of the poem bears striking resemblance with John Milton's epic Paradise Lost, particularly to Book 9. Milton writes this as one who, long in popular city pent, where houses thick and sewers annoy the air, forth issuing on a summer's morn to breathe among the villagers and farm. So, as one who long in popular city pent becomes in the hands of Keats to one who has long been in city pent. See the resemblance, the similarity? No doubt that Keats had read Milton, and perhaps Milton's poem or epic has inspired him to write this sort of creation. So, there is nothing to obstruct the poet's view or narrator's view. So he finds it extremely pleasant to look into the fair and open face of heaven. The clear, unclouded sky looks very bright in the light of the morning sun that appears to smile cheerfully. So this particular phrase, the smile of blue firmament, means cheerful, fills his heart with joy and great delight. So he is very happy going into the lap of nature, amidst the nature. And out of this enjoyment, out of this delight, extreme ecstasy, we can call it, he spontaneously offers God his heartfelt prayer for giving mankind a beautiful nature. Now, the next para is, who is more happy when with heart's content, fatigued he sinks into some pleasant lair of wavy grass and reads the debonair and gentle tale of love and languishment. So he scrolls here and there and to see and enjoy the beautiful sights of natural surroundings of the countryside. And when he is tired of rambling, he finds a pleasant place to rest. So that the place is surrounded by natural beauties, and wherever he casts his eye in the countryside, he finds nothing but the diversified form of nature. So the poet says that fatigued he sinks into some pleasant layer of wavy grass. After roaming here and there, he is quite fatigued, he is weary, and he sits down in a place to rest. So reclining on this wavy grass, he reads an attractive story of love and languishment, as if you are reading a romantic novel in front of beautiful natural surroundings. Right? We often go to spend our holidays in the lap of nature, in the countryside, in our ancestral homes situated in villages, etc. So the concept is quite similar to this. So such a man, according to the poet, is the happiest man on earth who can find such recluse. The next phrase, the next stanza starts with this. Returning home at evening with an ear catching the notes of phenomenal, an eye watching the sailing cloudlet's bright career. So this is the first 3 lines of the set. I have discussed the first 8 lines, 4 plus 4, which is the octet, And the second part of the poem, which is set, consists of 6 lines. The first 3 lines go like this. So in this 3 lines, the poet is saying that in the evening the city dweller returns home. As I have told you, that after we have spent a lovely day during our picnic, we have feasted a lot, then after the sunset, in the afternoon, in the evening, we again return to our home when our enjoyment has been fulfilled, right? So after enjoying the beauties of nature in the countryside for the whole day long, he retires to his home. He listens to the sweet song of nightingale. And this, the figure of the nightingale is very significant, because we all know that Keats had written, I think, one of the most famous poems of his, that Ode to the Nightingale, his famous poem. And he recounts the tale of the nightingale, which is very sweet, which is very pleasant to his own ears. Again, there is a stance of Hellenism. Hellenism is, right, adoring the beauty of the classical Greeks. Helen is a figure which we find in the Battle of Troy and Homer's epic Iliad. So anything related to this classical beauty in English literature, we call it as Hellenism. And Keats was very fond of, or he was associated with this revivalism of the aesthetics of classical Greek and Rome. And that is why we often, or critics often, consider John Keats as being Hellenic, or hugely influenced by Hellenism. In this poem, this aspect of Hellenism comes in the form of the story of Philomel, as we find in the second line. This, catching the notes of Philomel and I, watching the sailing cloudlet's bright career. So the word Philomel refers to the girl who is named Philomel, and we find the story of Philomel in the Greek mythology. She was granted a boon to get transformed into a nightingale. So nightingale here means attaining freedom, attaining liberty, to fly, to escape from these mundane confinements, to escape, to get rid of from these earthly sorrows, mundane pleasures, which brings no satisfaction. These are all restrictions, constraints imposed upon the human soul. And the main objective of a human life, the main objective of a life should be aimed at attaining freedom, attaining emancipation from these mundane bonds which confines us. Right? So, living in a city is like being confined, eternally confined in a prison. Whereas, going to a countryside necessarily indicates that attaining freedom, attaining liberty from that confinement. That is what Keats is trying to say. So she was changed into nightingale by the god, and through this Hellenism, Keats asserts the proximity of nature and paganism. The last 3 lines of this poem go like this. He mourns the day so soon has glided by, even like the passage of an angel's tear that falls through the clear either silently. The poet ends in a very nostalgic tone. So the man looks above and sees small patches of cloud dancing in the sky. The rays of setting sun tinge the small pieces of cloud with purple colors. So this beautiful sight of the cloudlets floating in the sky like ships sailing in the seas has been painted here in a very poetic manner. So the happy day has passed by, and after the man has returned to his home, he is thinking of his beautiful experiences in the lap of nature. He feels sad that days had gone by, the days has passed very swiftly. So, no matter whatever time he has spent amidst the nature, according to the poet, according to the narrator, the time was very minimal, and he wants some more time to spend amidst the nature. So, Keats beautifully compares the passing of the day to the quiet and imperceptible falling of the angel's tear from the sky. Here an angel's tear refers to a dewdrop, Shishir Bindu, right? What Rabindranath has written in his poem. That falls through the clear either silently. In other words, the city dweller feels that the day has rendered him immense joy and pleasure, but it has passed away so soon. So the quantity of time that he has spent in the midst of nature, according to the poet, it is very short. It was of no joy or no fulfillment, and he longs to spend some more time in the nature as he had spent this day. Like so, the day has passed away as quietly and imperceptibly as the falling of a dewdrop from the clear sky above. তড়িতে দিনটা অতিবাহিত হয়ে গেল. So this is the romantic feeling, right? This interconnection between human existence and natural beauty, which the romantics have repeatedly resonated, echoed in their poetry. So regarding questions that may come in the exam, you should focus on this interlacement of human existence and nature, this description of natural beauty, and this longing of human heart to go amidst the nature from the confinement of industrial city, industrial ravishes or the ravishes of industrialization, and where going in between the nature signifies the liberation, the emancipation from the restriction or confinements of a city life. On the next day, I will go again the next poem that is included in your syllabus.